All right, you are good to go.
Thank you.
All righty, meeting call to order. Today is Tuesday, May 26th. It is now 6:51 PM. The Town Council for public hearing for wastewater fiscal year 2020 and sewer commission meeting.
Roll call, Council President Goslin.
Here,
Council Vice President D'Amico is absent. Councilman Messier,
Here.
Councilman Licciardi,
Here.
Councilwoman Williamson.
Here.
Participating communities, Town of Coventry, Town of Situate, City of Cranston, City of Warwick, Town of West Greenwich. We have a quorum on record. The proposed wastewater treatment facility fiscal year 21 budget. The wastewater enterprise fund budget for fiscal year 21 is $9,325,341,000, which is a 2.8% increase from fiscal year 20. Usage collections will remain at $3.55 per 100 cubic foot for West Warwick and regional reserve users for a 4,000 cubic foot minimum charge per unit / EDU.
sorry, Kristen, can you repeat that last sentence? Because I think somebody was walking around with their phone and
Oh,
need help with somebody.
I said it, the reserve users with a 4,000 cubic foot minimum charge per unit or EDU. So it's remaining the same as last year. We did not raise the rates, proposing not to.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Any questions?
The thing I would like to mention in the rates is that there is a little bit of an increase in the surcharges that we impose on the industry. That hasn't been changed since 2006. So we have we've recalculated the cost to treat for BOD, total suspended solids, ammonia, and phosphorus. And so we've upped those rates a little bit to reflect the cost to do those. Right now, there's only like 4 or 5 industries in town that are impacted by these, but their impact on the phosphorus that they discharge has a dramatic cost increase to the community, to the town, and to the operations. So with the change in parameters for BOD and phosphorus, we thought it would be time to look at that. So I've worked with Al DeFiore, and once you approve the budget, there is a resolution which puts these new rates into effect.
Does anybody have any questions for Harrison, Jim, or Christine?
No, Jason, you might want to talk about, we did as a subcommittee go over the budget and looked at it. And Jim Jeremy did point out that very same thing, that there were some costs increases regarding some of those BOD, things like that. So other than that, keeping rates the same makes it fairly easy. I think people did a really nice job putting the budget together.
Thank you.
No, the only thing I want to bring up, and I'm not going to be the obstructionist to this budget, because I think it's a really good budget. I know you put a lot of time into this, especially you, Christine, it's in giving the factors, you know. But I brought this up several times. The full-time equivalent of what the sewer department pays the town. I know each council member has received the chart, which I've received the chart. I have 5 or 6 copies of this chart. I understand it, but you know, we don't have much time right now this year, but definitely next year, I think we need to have people on board and put some type of workshop or committee together and
Yep.
just to see where these numbers come from, because
Yeah, so I can start the next one. Go to the council meeting. Yeah.
I've asked several times and I've gotten the chart.
you have
I
to
understand.
state it.
the chart. It's right here.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand where the numbers come from. So I did talk with Harrison. He's all set with, as a superintendent, to put this budget forward. But again, I'm confident in the budget. I don't understand these numbers. So Ernie, I think this is something that should be on the top of the list to do come summertime.
Ernie will be with us in 1 minute.
Yeah, Ernie's not on.
Jason, just to add on to that, I think as we go, getting ready to get all the numbers right, I think on our part, we should also try to monitor how much time is allocated to the services that the town provides to us. Say, for instance, meetings with the town manager, meetings that the clerk runs for us, just to try and figure out exactly how many hours they put to our service, and hopefully that can be worked out together with the amount of revenue that we're paying them.
Okay. But that's on you, Harrison.
Right,
That's on you.
right.
For the record, Councilman D'Amico did sign in. Any other questions for Harrison or Christine on the budget? All right, let's move on. There's no, but hold on one second. There's one attendee, Ernie Zimbalinski's in the attendees list. All right, he's brought over. We have no attendees on the budget hearing for sewer, so we have no public comment. All right, who wants to start the first item on the agenda?
Do we adjourn this agenda?
Do we
or
need
just
to,
keep-
yeah,
Yeah,
do
I
we need
think,
to adjourn that?
yeah, I say so.
Yeah, well, don't we have the separate link though, right?
No,
No,
that's-
not yet, not yet. So I
Adjourn the
take a
hearing.
motion, a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Right.
Second.
Start the
Second.
council, to start the sewer commission meeting as a separate entity.
Right.
Okay. All right. So both sewers are together. All right. Sorry.
all in favor?
Okay. Aye.
Aye.
Don't log off. I'll restart the meeting in a minute. Christine, just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Joe Poole, just let me know when you're ready for YouTube.
It stays, Dave. You're all set. You guys can keep right on rolling.
All right, go ahead, Christine. Just take roll call.
You want me to do roll call again?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman President Goslin,
Here.
Council Vice President D'Amico,
Here.
Councilman Messier,
Here.
Councilman Licciardi,
Here.
Councilwoman Williamson.
Here,
Participating communities, Town of Coventry, Town of Situate, City of Cranston, City of Warwick, Town of West Greenwich. We have a quorum on record. Do we do a prayer? Do we still do this for this one?
Yeah, we haven't done prayer or pledge of allegiance.
Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting. Resolved that the minutes of the February 25th, 2020 Town Council meeting acting as sewer commission is hereby accepted.
Do I have a
move
motion?
approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
What's plant managers report?
Good evening, everybody. I am going to present both the March and the April reports, since we didn't present one in March. With the influence to the facility, we received an average of 5.8 million gallons a day. The maximum flow was 10.6 and the minimum was 3.8. As in regards to the percentage removal, the CBOD removal was at 99%. The required one is 85%. And with the total suspended solids, The removal rate was at 97%. The DEM requirement being at 85%. Total nitrogen in the month of March, it was monitor only. So there were no tests being done that were for the permit. It was just monitor. The total phosphorus, the permit requirement is 1.0. The facility achieved 0.63 milligrams per liter. As in regards to the sludge removal, the facility removed 453 tons of wet sludge, which is roughly about 6 tons of sludge a day. Collection systems, we had 3 block-ups in the private lines, calls coming in from Main Street, River Ave, and New London Ave. With the public lines, we only had 1 call that came from Councilman Lachadi of a manhole that had overflown on Church Street and Nestor. With the trainings, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we did not have any trainings. We had 0 order complaints for that month, and also 0 facility violations. The plant staff, just point of interest, the staff continued cleaning the facility, using the first hour of the day, disinfecting all areas that came into contact with human beings. I will now move on to the April report. And again, with the influent flow, the facility experienced 7.9, which was an average daily of 14.5 million gallons per day. CBOD and TSS removal, the facility achieved 95% and 89% respectively. The total nitrogen, again, we're just on monitor only. But with the total phosphorus, unfortunately, the results came back and we had 1 violation on that one. It was a tough month. The violation was caused by high flows, which washed out the sand. The sand is very vital in helping us with the phosphorus removal. As of sewer backups, we had 2 in the private lines, and we had 1 public lines. The one in the public line came out of Lansdale Street. This was reported by a homeowner on April 5th, and we found that there were a lot of grease and flashable wipes in the system. This was unblocked. The training schedule, again, we did not have any training because of the outbreak. We're trying to minimize the number of people in one room. We had 0 order complaints in the month of April. Again, like I mentioned, the facility had 1 violation of phosphorus, and this was reported to DEM, and the excuse the excuse given to them why this happened. In point of interest, my assistant Mike Badad was scheduled to take the exam for operator 4 license. He did go to this test and he passed. So we have a new operator with a 4 license at West Warwick. So that makes it the 2 of us.
That's terrific.
Right.
Congratulations.
That is awesome.
Yeah. He
Big
worked
relief.
hard, and this was really good. Yeah. Other than that, that's it. That's all the report I had for today.
Any questions for Harrison?
Actually, Harrison, I would just, can you tell us with the coronavirus COVID-19 work schedules down at the plant, what's happening there? How many people are working from home? How many, can you share some of that with us?
Well, we really don't have anybody working from home. Everybody that's coming is coming in on a rotational schedule. You know, the office staff are working 2.5 days on and then 2.5 days off. And then the maintenance staff, because that's like the biggest number we have, they're rotating weekly. But if there's any emergency, you know, we call in the guys that are at home to come and help out, which has been happening quite a lot. So we're doing like what was recommended by the town manager, doing a rotation. But
So when you
So you know,
go ahead,
I do
Jason.
work from home. I'm sorry. I still work from home when I'm home. And then I work so I'm doing the rotating like Harrison said, but I still I'm doing both.
Yeah, she
Well,
comes
I
in
guess that's,
Monday.
so are people working 20 hours? Are they working 40 hours? Yeah, can you explain that to me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Harrison. Sorry.
Instead of with, like I said, with the office stuff, we have them working 20 hours a week. And then the other stuff, maintenance, working 1 week on and 1 week off. We're trying to separate the two groups. But like I said, if ever there's an emergency, we do require them to come in because they're getting paid anyways. You know, so that is something that we found was practical for us to do, because if ever somebody ever got sick, anybody who was first contact would have to stay at home and isolate themselves. In this case, if we had somebody on days, that was most likely the scenario that everybody that was on that shift might have to stay home. So we rotated them weekly instead of every couple of days.
So we don't have anybody working 40 hours a week?
As of now, the only people that are working 40 hours a week are operators. For those operators, the essential workers, and they have to work the 40 hours. We can't rotate them because we don't have staff that allows that.
All right, so we have, just to make it, just so I'm clear, we have people working 40. How many people are working their normal 40 hours?
Off the top of my head, we have 5 operators that work 40 hours. That's the guys that work on first shift, second shift, and third shift.
Okay.
And those have kept to their regular shifts.
So the other guys, the other people are working 20 hours. I don't know if I'm right with the numbers. Is it 20 hours they're working?
That's correct. Those are the guys that are in the administration building. But the maintenance staff, they're working 40 hours a week, and the other group is staying at home. And then the following week, we switch them around. So, I know it's a little confusing because we are looking at three different departments to say. We are looking at 3 different departments.
Well, that's the thing that I'm confused about. Like, if we have people working 40 and getting paid for 40, and then people working 20 and getting paid for 40, what are the people working 40 hours a week saying? Like, are they getting compensated differently?
Well, about the compensation, we don't know
how is that working.
We don't know what's going to happen. But the people that are working 40 hours are the essential workers. Those are the guys who work whether there's a snowstorm, a holiday, or a weekend. They have to work anyways. And it's a limited number of operators that need to man the facility at all times. They have to work 40 hours no matter what. The ones that are rotating are the maintenance department. Those ones work Monday to Friday, 7 to 3. Now, because of the numbers, we split them in 2 groups. And that's why they're working 40 hours on and 40 hours off.
But they're getting paid for their 40 hours off.
Correct, which works the same as office
Full-time
staff.
pay, half-time work.
Well, that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, okay, no, I just wanted to make sure it was clear.
Right, that's correct, yeah. That's what everybody else is doing.
All right, so what about the people that are working 40 and getting paid for 40 and watching the person on the side of them go home and get paid for 40 and only work 20?
Well, first of all, the people that are working 40 hours are mostly by themselves at the facility. So the danger of
no, I understand the health concerns, Harrison, but there's a difference, and this has been brought up to me. So I understand the health and the safety, but you're also looking at, all right, I'm here, I'm essential, that's great, I'm important, and I'm getting paid for the hours I work. But then again, like I just said, we have the person that's working in the same department. And I mean, that could be you, Mike, Christine, could be anybody. They're getting paid for 40 as well, but they're not putting 40 hours in. So how are they going to get because everybody's getting paid the same for their full time, right?
Correct.
So before we go any further, Ernie, can you?
So what about the 5 people that are working?
So before we go on any further, Ernie, can you give us an expectation of when all departments will be back full-time? Because this is not just a sewer department issue. This is also a town hall issue. You have a couple of weeks that the clerks in the clerk's office became essential for the election. So can you just give us an update of when you plan on bringing everybody back full-time?
That will depend on a few factors. You know, we're going to be going into, or the state's going to be going into phase 2 of the reopening, and that will be business reopenings. We are going to fall under the, I would assume cities and towns will fall under the state guidelines for reopening. So I would assume sometime, possibly within the next few weeks, you know, we have to be, like other communities, ready for a customer-facing contact, which means we have to have plexiglass or some type of barrier between an employee and a citizen or customer coming in for service. And we have ordered that, and some have come in and some has not. So, you know, at the present time, we're in the process of getting that protective equipment in. That's opening of town hall. I would expect, again, shortly, possibly within a few weeks, going back to a normal schedule. Again, a lot of what we follow comes out of guidance from various state departments on operations. And how do you operate your organization, your company? You know, there are, you know, protocols that are going to be put into place, and once we know them, you know, we will comply with them. So to answer your question, it remains to be determined, but I would think shortly, possibly in a few weeks. One of the items or one of the issues is that, you know, we would look at what other communities do as well and see what are they doing, when are they opening up to the public, what are they doing as far as bringing their workforce back. But again, to answer your question, it's not set yet, but I would think within the next few weeks, the workforce will be coming back, and we'll have a full workforce where we won't have any staggered shifts. But again, as you know, when you do that, you know, there is the risk of someone being infected with COVID-19 and the possibility of infecting other staff. So the protocols would have to be in place and adhered to as to the requirements, such as, you know, when someone comes into work, they have to be, you know, have a temperature taken, have a list of questions asked as to how you're feeling. You know, if you're feeling ill, then go home. So protocols are being developed, you know, for that at the present time. So I would think that, again, within a few weeks, we should be able to have, you know, everything lined up in place, because again, everybody has to come back to work at some point in time. So long-winded answer, so I'm not sure, but I would think within a few weeks, full employees will be back fully. And then at the time when we have other protocols in place dealing with the public, then town hall would be open to the public as normal.
Ernie, is there a plan? I don't know if the sewer department is the only department that's doing this, where we have people that have to work the 40 hours a week and other people in the department don't. Is there a plan to, I guess, compensate the people that are coming in every day doing their full-time job?
Well, that's a question that is been raised, and, you know, certainly, you know, I understand that. The employees that are here are considered essential, important to the operation. And the ones that have been given the flexibility was done in a sense to limit a exposure where a department would be taken out. Now, in a perfect world, if we had funding available and had, a budget that would be in place and have, no financial concerns, then we could look at, some type of formula or compensation. But the reality is, the town, like every other city in town, is faced with very dire prospects of going forward. We have no idea what state aid is going to be or when it's going to be that answered the question. We have, as the council has said, we've had conversation at budget hearings of a zero tax increase or 2% or whatever. So at this point, when you have these issues that are out there to deal with, the idea of additional compensation for those who are doing the 40 hours versus those who were considered essential. Again, it's an issue that has, that would be, in a sense, problematic. We've also looked at, and as far as the hero pay issue, again, in a situation that had more certainty, then you may be able to look at things. When you have so much uncertainty out there, it's very difficult to look at that issue, in my opinion, faced with so many unknowns. So to answer your question, is there a plan? No. Could one be developed? Yes. But at the same token, if we are saying that we have to be conservative with our funding, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know if the state aid is going to come in and when or at what level. We have a budget to adopt and put before the public. Is that going to be approved or not? We have cash that will take us to a certain amount of time, but not indefinitely. So, all these issues are out there. So when it comes to expenditures that don't have to be made, in my mind, the prudent issue would be to not make those. And if at time there is certainty known, then, and the certainty is not, the light at the end of the tunnel is not a train, then you may be able to look at things. But right now we have all these uncertainties are out there. So it would seem to me problematic to make additional expenses that we don't have to make.
So
Not to be the dead horse, but I know we can come up with $340-something thousand, what the sewer department is giving to the town hall.
Well,
So I think there's money there,
they're not
and I won't elaborate it. You know where I'm going with it.
It's services that are being provided. And again, we've always said the wastewater department wants to come in and review those. We'd be happy to do that. It may be less, it may be more. We have to see.
Right, exactly.
But at the present time, as I'm sure you said, we have to adopt the sewer department budget. There's no reason not to. There are ratepayers and assessment payers. And again, with your comment, if that's less, then that's more on the town side that has to be paid. But again, it has to be done in a thorough analytical way, and we pledge to do that. As far as the back charges for services.
Councilman Licciardi, we can cut the budget by $340,000 and waive those fees.
I know,
Who's gonna pay?
that's why I'm not, I understand that. I understand that.
And just to give you a brief heads up, I think you've been on some emails about hero pay. We've talked about it. We've run some numbers because we have police and fire who have not taken any time off. We've had some secretaries who haven't taken time off. Dispatches who haven't taken time off. So that's all town business. I know. So we're going to move forward with that. We can bring it up in the council meeting. But on the sewer side, we on all three union presidents were spoken to and talked to and had meetings with Ernie to discuss different things. And we're going to run into this situation where we have people working from home that don't come to the office. We have people who are working part-time, and we have people who are working full-time on all sides. So again, hopefully this is over soon and it'll be a dead issue and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Any questions for Harrison regarding the financial, the plant update?
Harrison, can I ask you quick, how many people are working tomorrow? I want to drop off some lunch to you guys. I know this is a council meeting, so that's all I'll ask is how many people are going to be there?
We, there'll be roughly about 10 people. No, tomorrow we got more people coming in. There'll be roughly about 15 people working.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
I was just looking for an extra plate.
Yeah, 20, there'll be 25.
Why
Thank
not? I'm good at leftovers too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harrison. All right, Christine. I might have muted you because of the dog. I'll unmute you.
That wasn't my dog from the last time, just
No,
saying.
there was somebody, a little chihuahua or something going.
That was outside at my house, walking, people walking.
My dog is downstairs now. Anyway, industrial pretreatment program report.
Good evening. What I'm going to do this evening is look at both March and April and combine the two as they tend to blend together with the COVID-19, the impact that we're seeing with COVID-19. So over the past 2 months, our significant industrial users, Rhodes Technology, Warwick Ice Cream, Amtrol, and Immunex all submitted their self-monitoring reports, and all permits were in compliance. With regards to Rhodes Technology is in the process of installing new acetone removal equipment. Unfortunately, they're waiting for the representative of the company to start up the system. The company is in Canada, and therefore the system is not being started up until people can make their way from Canada to the US. With regards to Rhodes Technology, a new permit was issued for their oxidation treatment system. Also, Rhodes Technology had reported a spill on their propyl glycol system, but their spill was contained and nothing entered the sewer. In March, Amtrol was working on their flow meter. Again, there was a situation in March where they had to replace it. The flow meter was coming from China, and finally came in April, and the system was installed in the month of April, and they're now back online. Warwick Ice Cream submitted their slug plan, and were in compliance. With regards to the private wastewater treatment facilities, Showcase Cinema had canceled the cleaning for their line in March and April due to the COVID-19 breakout. However, in the month of May, that line was cleaned. Construction continues at the Quaker Lane, 1200 Quaker Lane. We're waiting for Showcase to submit their O&M manual as part of that construction process. 1600 Division Street still has not submitted their operations and maintenance manual for their private system. At this time, a new tenant is occupying the space without submitting any pretreatment requirements. This tenant is treating medical waste by thermal destruction. We have contacted the tenant and asked them to submit an application for pretreatment. With regards to food services, Stop and Shop was in Coventry, was inspected and found to be in general compliance. Pat's Italian Restaurant, on Nooseneck Hill Road in Coventry, the company submitted their plan and application, and a new permit was issued for them. Walmart's and Pizonis were inspected and showed evidence that their grease trap was performing in accordance with the regulations. We had a situation where Rhode Island Shellfish was originally permitted with limited food services. They would only steam quahogs and sell uncooked stuffies. During the last inspection, or the last couple of months, the program observed that they were selling seafood, fried seafood, without a permit. With this COVID-19 and the takeout, et cetera, we'll work with the company to find out if that's going to be a continuing process, or it was just during the interim to go get everybody over this hurdle on COVID-19. Once we find out better, then we'll have to have them resubmit if they're cooking friolators in that facility. Dunkin' Donuts was issued a new permit, and Little Rhodey Ice Cream installed their grease trap this past month. However, in installing the grease trap, they found their sewer lateral had been destroyed or was deteriorating. So the company agreed to replace it. We gave them a compliance schedule so that they can open up this year and by the fall of next year, replace it. A new permit was issued for Benny's Clam Shack, and a new permit was issued for Walmart's Superstore. That's all I have.
Any questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim.
Okay. Move on to financial update. Year-to-date operating and debt expenses for fiscal year 20 as of April 30th totaled $6,394,233, which is 70% of the annual budget. Fiscal year 20 sewer usage collections through April 30th totaled $5,916,089, which is 85% of the total billed. Of the total collected, 99,550 represents interest. Fiscal year 20 sewer assessment collections through April 30th totaled $348,869,000, which is 94% of the total billed. Of that, interest represented 4,337. Cash and investments through April 30th totaled 3,226,940. As you know, we had the first public hearing today. Next Tuesday, June 2nd, we'll have the second public hearing, and then it'll go on the next town council meeting immediately following for approval. And then you'll also see, as we spoke in the sewer subcommittee, we'll have some extension resolutions for approval. And that is all I have.
Any questions for Christine? Thank you, Chris.
Okay. The first contract extension is resolved that the recommendation of the superintendent and the sewer subcommittee for the West Warwick wastewater treatment facility, that the town council president be authorized to approve a one-year contract extension for analytical laboratory with Microbach, Inc. of Dayville, Connecticut.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second, and I'll take a roll call vote. Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
yes,
And I vote yes.
The next is for sodium hypochlorite contract extension. Instead, I'm not going to read through the whole repeating. I'm just going to say who it's with. Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
yes,
Thank you. It's for a one-year contract extension for sodium hypochlorite contract with Univas Solutions USA, Inc. of Providence, Rhode Island.
Move the resolution.
second,
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Jason?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes. You confuse us because usually you call him Jay and me Jason, so I think we got thrown off.
He's going to be first. John?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
yes,
And I vote yes.
The next is for methanol contract extension with Univas Solutions of Providence, Rhode Island.
move the resolution,
I second.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
yes,
And I vote yes.
Next is with sodium hydroxide with Boarding and Remington Corporation of Fall River, Mass. For another one-year contract extension.
Move the resolution.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote. Any questions or comments first? Hearing none. Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And last is for a one-year contract extension for aluminum sulfate, which is alum for the Holland Company of Adams, Massachusetts.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Hearing none. Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
We have the consent agenda resolved that the consent agenda having been posted, all matters having been referred to proper departments and being disposed of or awaiting recommendations, the same is hereby approved.
Resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
All I have.
Do you have public comment on there, Kristen?
We do have public
Yes.
comment, yes.
Do we have any public comment? If so, please raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, log off and go on the other link.
All right, ladies
All
and
right.
gentlemen, it'll take me a second to end this meeting, and then John will start the other one.
Thank
All
you.
right. See you on the other
Thank-
side.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening,
Anybody in the
Good night.
attendees area, you
Good night.
can log off and go to the new
Stay
Zoom
safe.
meeting.